Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to answer a question that has been asked what I feel is a fair bit recently during my recent live streams. And that question is, what is my favourite Era 3 tank? Up to now, my answer and what I've said has always been the Challenger 2, which to some extent is true. That is a correct answer from me. The Challenger 2 is a great tank, and being British, I'm going to love it, and it is going to be in my, it's going to be one of my top favourites, just because, it is a brilliant tank, and it is, after all, the tank that my nation uses. So it's fitting for me to say that. However, there is another tank that I really do love in Era 3, and that tank is the M1 Abrams. The M1 is the lowest tier American heavy in Era 3. Above it is the M1 A1, and then finally the M1 A2. Given its bottom tier status, you might think it wouldn't be worth keeping. After all, tanks like the Chieftain Mark 11 and the Type 85-2M, they're there in the tech tree, and you simply have to get through them. You just have to play them. You just have to play the Chieftain Mark 11 if you want the Challenger 1, which is a good tank. And then so on, you carry on to the Challenger 2. It's just, they're just there and you have to play them. For me, that was not and is still not the case with the M1. Even stock, the M1 has characteristics that I think make it a brilliant tank. Straight out of the box, it's fast, very fast. And not only is it fast, I mean there are some tanks in the game. For example, we'll take the FV101. It's a fast tank, but it takes a little while to get up to that top speed. Its acceleration is pretty poor. The M1, however, stock has excellent acceleration both forwards and backwards. And with this tank, there is no engine upgrade, so the engine that you start with at the beginning carries all the way through this grind. The stock gun with my crew setup has an accuracy of 0.18. The fully upgraded M1A2 with the same crew setup has an accuracy of 0.19. So the stock gun on the M1 is more accurate than the fully upgraded M1A2. What about the fully upgraded M1 gun? Glad you asked. Well, the top gun on the M1 with my crew setup, my crews are always the same for these heavies. I actually use the same crew. I transfer Arnold from one tank to the next just because I love Arnold. But the top gun on the M1 with my crew setup has an accuracy of 0.16. The only gun in the game that is better than that belongs to the M60AX, which I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe that can achieve an accuracy of 0.13 with the right setup. That said though, the AX is an Era 3 premium and will set you back a fair chunk of cash. The M1, in theory, can be earned for free. So what you're getting is an incredibly accurate gun on a tank that can be earned for free, or you can get the most accurate gun in the game for I don't actually know what the cost is, but it's a lot. So, if you're after a superb gun, do you buy a premium that's expensive, or do you earn the M1? It's a toss-up. Which one would you prefer? Personally, I prefer the M1. The DPM for the M1 is 6,048, and the DPM for the M1A2 is only 5,971. It just doesn't sound like the M1 has anything bad going for it. It really doesn't. If I were to leave it there, you'd probably think that the M1 is too good to be true. How can a bottom tier tank be faster both backwards and forwards, and have a higher DPM than the top era tank, the M1 A2? Well, there are balancing features here that need to be considered. Yes, the M1 can shift and put out tremendous amounts of fire. I mean, look at it right now. It's absolutely flying across these paddy fields and Dragon Ridge. And what the game's just gone over 30 seconds old, and I'm already halfway across the map. This thing can shift. It really can. It's brilliant, and as I've already mentioned, the DPM is amazing. But the M1 is balanced by poor armor and fewer hit points than the M1A2. Right now we have 3,550 hit points. I believe the M1A2 has 4,100 or 4,050 hit points. I'm not exactly sure. But basically, those extra 500 hit points mean that you can take an extra shot. Because the average damage roll in Era 3 is about 500. So the M1A2 can take more hits. The M1 is a soft target and can't really take a hit. So that's the balancing side of the M1. Anyone who has played Era 3 long enough will know that an M1 is a very soft target. It can bounce in coming rounds, but I wouldn't personally count on it. So now that we know what the downsides are, what can you do about it? Well, the answer to that is pretty simple. The playstyle for the M1 is the same as the Era 2 Leopards. It's essentially a medium. Great maneuverability, a superb gun, but poor armor. When you play it in a support role, sitting back a little way, not being the first one into a fight, which is the exact opposite of what I'm actually showing in the game right now. I suppose you could do what I'm doing now. It is working after all. I mean, that was that a Type 85, I think? Yeah, he's running away. So I am keeping an eye on the minimap. I will say, I wouldn't push like this unless it was safe and I had support around me, which is essentially what the playstyle for a medium is. Don't push in on your own. If you do push, make sure that you've got support and friends around you. And there you go, I bounced a shot. So the M1 can bounce shots. It can be done, but I wouldn't count on it. Sitting back and using your accuracy in the M1, for me, the playstyle, yes, it's a medium playstyle, but what I love about this is the precision of this gun, and it's the same thing with the AX. You sit back a little way and use this precision accuracy to damage modules, and I don't think this game demonstrates it very well. But one thing I have really tried to do recently with my gameplay is, if I'm in a position where I know I can't really pen a shot, actually I tried to do it there, if I'm in a position where I feel I either can't pen a shot or I can gain more damage or assist by whatever I do, I will try and aim for a track. Because if you can track a tank, you will then get the tracking assist, which is a better way of gaining how do we say this? It's like I don't know. I don't know what the words. I don't know how to put this really. You gain more in-game. It's not direct damage. You gain more assisted damage. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you gain more assisted damage by the shot that you put out. So, for example, with that BMP3 I was shooting at there, I didn't just try and shoot him in the side. I tried to shoot him in the side and hit his track, because I can do two things with one round. I can track them and I can do damage. So for that round I get the damage, and then I will consequently get any assisted damage, which is a superb way of upping your in-game performance. That's what I'm trying to say. There you go, in-game performance. Because if, like me, you want a 3-marker tank, I do want a 3-mark the M1, you need assist as well as direct damage. So if you can get more per shot, then by all means, shoot the track, do damage and gain tracking assist, rather than just going for a damaging shot. That's what I recommend. Anyway, if you can find a way to make the M1 work for you, you will find this to be a very enjoyable tank. Now that I have fully unlocked the M1A2, I have to say I think I prefer the M1, and like I've said already, I really would like to 3 mark this because it is a superb tank. Also, let's not forget that you get 3 skins with the M1. There's a summer, desert, and urban skin, all of which I think make this tank look the part. It really does look the part in the game. And the desert skin especially, I could be wrong here. I may have my historical facts wrong here, but correct me in the comments. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the M1 saw service in the Gulf War. So for any of you watching who, if you took part in that campaign, having these skins is a nice aesthetic touch for this iconic machine. It makes it feel and look the part in the game. I really like it, and I use all 3 skins. Okay folks, that's about all I have to say for this one. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I hope you're all keeping well, and I will see you out there.